Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'm Catherine Daniels, Executive Editor and founder of the WIP. Did you know that Monterey was home to an international news website? The WIP stands for the Women's International Perspective, a website that delivers news stories from the unique and valuable perspectives of women, from Argentina to Zimbabwe. Read in over 3,500 cities each month, the WIP features stories about education, the economy, technology, politics, and world affairs. Women. Why women? You may be asking yourself this question. I'm here to share with you our important mission. Not only does the underrepresentation of women in media equate a missing voice in the global news market, but the inclusion of the other 51% is essential if we are to find solutions to our global problems that are achievable, sustainable, and that benefit everyone. What is the underrepresentation of women's voices? I mean, after all, isn't Katie Couric the managing editor and the anchor of the CBS Evening News? Well, look no further than the opinion pages of the nation's leading newspapers, and you will see that women are missing. This absence is very telling. Whether it's a conservative or liberal publication, these pages reflect the work of some of our most respected thought leaders. They impact public policy, they drive our political process, yet according to Washington Post's Ombudsman Deborah Howell, fewer than 14% of the op-eds published by the Washington Post are written by women. Researchers at Rutgers University looked specifically at the op-eds written by academics and found that almost all the opinions were by men. For example, 97% in the Wall Street Journal and 82% in the New York Times. So what do you get when you develop a news website that's entirely by women? You get content that contributes to our collective understanding of global issues. What's often missing from mainstream media coverage is how a story is impacting people, communities, and the environment. The media is prone to telling stories in a vacuum, and only when a crisis hits. Take, for example, the global problem of terrorism and the recent attack in Mumbai. If it bleeds, it leads, they say in mainstream media. One anchor on CNN even encouraged viewers to visit their website by promoting the really great photos and really great video of the terrorist attack. But what will it take in a news story to really understand a conflict between rivals such as India and Pakistan? How many Americans understand Kashmir, or even what Indian-administered Kashmir is? Who better to teach us than the women living in India, in Pakistan, and in Kashmir? What better starting point for a global dialogue than these women's stories? WIP contributors Priti Sehgal, Beena Sarwar, and Afsana Rashid, living in India, in Pakistan, and in Kashmir, are doing just that. Priti Sehgal, a WIP contributor, is also published in the second edition of People Building Peace, a project of the European Center for Conflict Prevention. Beena Sarwar, a WIP contributor in Karachi, is also involved in the Pakistan-India People's Forum for Peace and Democracy. And Afsana Rashid, our journalist that's in Kashmir, has been awarded for her work on the impact of conflict on the subsistence livelihood of marginalized communities in Kashmir. The WIP employs journalists not only in South Asia, but all over the world. We're publishing stories that are important to our writers and their communities, delivering their news to a global audience. We also believe that women's economic empowerment leads to the empowerment of entire communities. Even the Gates Foundation has a gender-sensitive policy. They know something about feeding millions of people, and they partner with women because they know that that means feeding entire families. And supporting the WIP, it's not only good for these women journalists, and it's not only good for us and the news that we get every day, it's also good for Monterey. Imagine if the WIP one day were to mean to Monterey what CNN means to Atlanta. From its birthplace in Atlanta, CNN has become a major force in national and international journalism. And it's not just the birthplace of the WIP. Monterey is also the birthplace of all three of our editors. Sarah McGowan was born and raised in Monterey, and she now lives in Los Angeles, California. She's our features and photo editor, and she supervises our fact-checking process, recruits all of our writers, and edits and publishes all of our stories. Also born and raised in Monterey is Aralina Malone-Leroy. She now lives in Paris, France. As WIP's news editor, she selects articles written by women for the Byline portal and updates our current headlines, culling news stories from various news agencies to offer WIP readers balanced and international review of current events each day. There is so much poverty, environmental destruction, and warfare in the world. And yet, there's more than enough food, creativity, and peace to go around. Women prioritize the good of the unit, whether that's family, community, or country. When we are called to action, it's to make a situation better, or to make the world a better place, and not for power, for might, or for greed. It's time for all of us to access the feminine instincts that we each have and really work together to make this world a better place. I hope that each of you will join the WIP, because together we can make a difference. Thank you.